Today in this video, I would like to tell you why every time we are telling about the current is due to the flow of electrons only. But in general, the definition of a current is it is nothing but the flow of a charge in unit time. But in nature, we have two types of charges. One is nothing but positive charge. Second one is nothing but negative charge. So negative charge is carried by the electrons which are revolving around the nucleus, and the positive charge is carried by the protons which are inside the nucleus. So as per the definition, the current is nothing but flow of charge. So according to definition, the current should be the flow of electrons, or the current should be, you can tell it should be the flow of protons. But every time we are telling that the current is due to the flow of electrons only. And most of the time you may be finding the signboards in market like Bajaj Electronics, Anil Electronics, uh, Bharat Electronics Limited only. So every time the signboards are related to electronics only. There is no signboard which is related to protonics like Bajaj Protonics, Bharat Protonics Limited. So everywhere you will be finding the signboard name of the company which is related to electronics, that is mentioning as only Electronics Limited. So here, because the current is due to the flow of electrons, but it is not due to the flow of protons. So here I will tell you why every time we are defining the definition of current as a flow of electrons, but not due to protons. Even the protons are nothing but charged particles. So the first reason is electrons are a very lighter particle when comparing with protons, because the mass of electrons is 1836 times lesser when comparing with the mass of protons. Nothing but the mobility of electrons is very much larger when comparing with protons. And one of the most important point is nothing but, as you know, the current is, again, it is nothing but the flow of electrons. So if I give some amount of energy to remove the electrons from the outer shell of the atom, then in presence of electrical field there may be a motion of, there is a motion of electrons, so that will give you the current. But if I want to define the current, that is because of protons. So protons are inside the nucleus. So if I want to get the protons, free protons, so I have to break the nucleus. So the amount of energy required to break a nucleus, that is called as nuclear fission process. Okay, for example, if it is a copper, so copper is a good conductor. There is no need of giving external energy, because the copper is a metal. It is going to have more number of free electrons. So basically, it is a good conductor. So in this case, in case of copper, you can tell the current is to the flow of electrons. But if I define the same current because of protons, okay, protons are inside the nucleus. So in case of copper, I require nearly 8.7 million electron volt of energy. So that much of energy is required to remove the protons. Even if I supply that much of energy to remove the protons, you may not be finding the free protons, because the combination of these nucleus will give you the radiation, not the free particles. So that's why every time we define the current as a flow of charge, okay, but we define the current as a flow of electrons only, because protons are inside the nucleus, and to get the protons, large amount of energy is required, that is called as nuclear fission process.